So if you're somebody interested in just learning how to select a graduate advisor, or if you're a prospective graduate student looking for a way to make your graduate application just a little bit stronger, then this video is for you. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything grad life, grad advice, and research. And today we are discussing how to pick a graduate advisor. Now, one way to have a strong graduate application is to be proactive and demonstrate that you are really thinking about your graduate research process. And one way to do that is by selecting a graduate advisor or a prospective graduate advisor and talking about them within their application. So today I'm going to walk us through that process on how to look and select a graduate advisor to help make your graduate application stronger. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're doing your research. And what this means is you need to look within the department website or across the faculty to read the bios of the faculty members that are at that department and generally at the university. Now, this is important because you want to find somebody that can guide you through some aspect of your research. So they don't necessarily have to be the expert or leading scientist in the field, but they do need to be somewhat related to your research. And the more related, the better. So if you're going through a bunch of bios and you see that there aren't any faculty that have anything to do with the research proposal that you're submitting for your application, then you probably don't have a high chance of getting into that particular department. So it's important to be aware of who is there, what are they studying, or what is their research focus, and how does it apply to your research. Now, again, it doesn't have to be a perfect fit. They don't have to study the exact same thing as you, but for the graduate admissions review committee and just for your own research goals in general, it should be a logical connection and a very easy connection to make. So if you're somebody who is studying, like me, the African diaspora in Latin America and museums, I want to find a faculty member that at least has one of these keywords within their bio or within their research interests. Now, I have a whole video that talks about the most important considerations when choosing a graduate program, and within that video, I go into depth on how to find keywords and prioritize what is best or most important for you. So definitely check that video out if you're a little confused on what your keywords are. But the general rule is to really scour the internet or scour your department's information to find faculty that are related to you. Then you want to dive deeper. And this means once you've found at least one, maybe at most 3 prospective faculty advisors, you want to go and find some recent work, some of their publications, be they articles or books, or some public talks or YouTube videos or interviews with them, but you really want to try to get to know them and their research a little bit more. Now, this helps you in a couple of ways. First, it helps you get familiar with what their research topic is and to see how closely related you are to them. Maybe on the website bio, it seems like they study the exact same thing as you, but as you go and look at your reading, you realize that they only have one article about this topic and the rest is about something else. So it helps you form a stronger argument on what to expect and write about within your application. The next way that it helps you is that through getting to know their research, their publications, their interviews, you're getting real familiar with the language and kind of the work that is happening within that department. So again, as you are structuring your research proposal for your application, you're able to think through, okay, this professor really talks about this a lot. I'm kind of tangentially related to that, but really relate to this other thing they discussed. So I'm going to talk about those articles in particular. So this way it demonstrates that you've done your research, that you have something to reference, and you understand what is the kind of scope of their work. And then it also demonstrates that you are actively thinking about your research process and already are kind of preparing to understand the field itself and kind of the state of your research topic or research question. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to read everything, especially if you're applying to quite a few graduate programs, because there's just no way for you to read 13 books within a month or what have you. So it's not about knowing everything about them. It's about getting to know more about this faculty and their research so you can talk about your research and specific ways that they can guide you in the department, or specific ways you hope that they can guide you once you are admitted into their department. So again, you're really demonstrating that you're thinking about your research topic, you're thinking about your research process, and that you understand the state of the field and the spaces that you may need support on and the spaces that you're pretty well versed on. The next thing that you're going to want to do is reach out via email. You want to make contact with these faculty. And part of the reason is there's nothing more frustrating than crafting a beautiful graduate application, spending hours and hours on tweaking your personal statement, preparing your proposal, answering all the questions, getting all your materials ready, just to put a faculty member into your application to find out that they are retiring that year, that they were only a visiting scholar, or that they are not accepting students. So you want to reach out to these faculty members to get to know them and to make sure that they are accepting students through this next application cycle. And what this means is, in general, when you are applying to a graduate program, unlike undergrad where everybody can have access to any type of class and can do any type of work, within graduate programs you're usually assigned or given a graduate advisor to help guide you through the process. But if a graduate advisor or a faculty in the department isn't accepting any more students, then that means they're not willing to mentor you. And so a graduate department isn't going to accept a student into their program if they don't have somebody willing to mentor them through the process. So it's important to, one, reach out so they know who you are, and that can add an extra little oomph or bonus to your application because people are already familiar with your name. But it also lets you know if they're accepting students, if they'll be there, or if they're retiring. Because again, if they're retiring, then they can't guide you. And if they're the only one with that topic, then you're kind of out of luck. So what you will do is you will craft an email. And within this email, you will introduce yourself, what your research is, what brought you to finding them interesting, right? So letting them know that you've read this article or read this book or saw this interview and that really interested you or excited you because your research topic is this, this, and this. And so you are reaching out to get to know them better, but also to see if they would be accepting students. Now this is going to tell you one of a few things. One, if they never email you back despite reaching out and being really kind, or if they email you back and they're very rude in their response, you probably don't want to work with them as an advisor anyway. And so you should probably cross them off your list and move on to the next one. And if they're the only one at that university that is relevant or could be helpful, potentially, then you should probably try to apply somewhere else. Now, if they respond and they seem very encouraging and kind, that's a really good sign, especially if they come outright and just say, yes, I am accepting students. Now, some professors may want to talk to you a little bit more, may have questions, or may want to do, in this virtual world, a Zoom meeting or some type of meeting to get to know you. So just be prepared for that. But generally, you want a professor that's going to respond affirmatively and kindly and understand that they are accepting students. Now, sometimes they may respond very positively and affirmatively, but are not accepting students because they are retiring or because they aren't actually, permanent faculty there and are planning on leaving or what have you. But this is an important step to get your foot in the door and to make sure what you are including into your application is going to help you instead of harm you. Because again, if you don't reach out and they're not accepting students, it kind of automatically disqualifies you. When you are including these faculty into your graduate application, it is important to remember you're not listing every faculty member within the department. You want to sound as concise and present that you have thought through this as much as possible. So even if you found 4 prospective graduate advisors and all 4 of them responded to you affirmatively, you need to make an executive decision on your top 2. And the reason that you want to do this is because you also want to show that you understand the people who will be best for your process. And it's not that you want to work with everybody, even if that may be true. And it's completely possible once you're in the program to work with everybody in some capacity. But within your application, you want to show that you are concise, that you understand what is most important for your success, and that you know the ways that these faculty members can support you through their research topic, through the publications that they've had, or through the mentorship or other activities or initiatives that they are leading on campus. So you have to be very strategic about what you are including into your application process or your application documents to demonstrate to the review committee that you are prepared to go into this graduate program and do a feasible research project. Of course, there are other important aspects of graduate admissions. So if you're interested in exploring more grad life, hearing more grad advice, and everything research, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions or video suggestions, leave the comments down below. And if you found at least 2 things in this video useful, don't forget to hit the thumbs up so others know that this video has good quality content. Your support, your likes, your comments, and your video suggestions help a small YouTuber like me continue to grow. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.